Good afternoon. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IACU Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire, syndicated there. You can also find us syndicated on our podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. We're going to talk about music today. Have you heard music is actually good for the brain? Oh, if that's the case, I should be a brainer. I'm telling you. But I've got this article, and I mean, music helps you to think. Grew up in a family dynamic, wasn't the best in the whole wide world, and so when I was coming from school, I would start our supper and also do homework at the same time. And what actually got me through was actually music, all kinds of music. I like all venues. I'm not into rap, but anyway, I do. And the new country stuff I'm not into either. I like the old stuff. But whatever works for you. And I just found that music kind of helps me to concentrate. So if you're having a rough day, you want to get motivated to exercise, you want to get motivated to get outside and do something, music might be your answer. So I found this article that's on health.harvard.edu. Health.harvard.edu. So why is music good for the brain? Okay, so this was an article that was written on October the 7th, 2020, and this is by Andrew E. Budson, MD. He's a contributor and editorial advisory board member of Harvard Health Publishing. So this is what he goes on to say. Can music really affect your well-being? Learning, your brain function, your quality of life, and even happiness. So this is what he says. A recent survey on music and brain health conducted by AARP, which is my group now, revealed that some interesting findings about the impact of music on cognitive and emotional well-being. So here are a few points he went on ahead and made about this. The first point was music listeners had higher scores for mental well-being and slightly reduced levels of anxiety and depression compared to people overall. There's two ways Phil has found he can calm me down. Okay, so if I'm just all wired and I've got like this deadline I want to reach and blah, 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 this is what he does. He puts on soothing music. He also plays with my hair. That helps too. So, of survey respondents who currently go to musical performances, and that can even be church performances, 69% rated their brain health as excellent or very good, compared to 58% of those who went in the past and 52% of those who never attended. So of those who reported, this is his third point, of those who reported often became exposed to music as a child, 68% rated their ability to learn new things as excellent or very good, compared to 50% of those who were not exposed to music. I was exposed to music my entire life. Grandparents who sang in church and all those great things. And so music has just always been a huge part. Now, the next point was active musical engagement, including those over age 50, was associated with higher rates of happiness and good cognitive function. The last one he gives is adults with no early music exposure, but who currently engage in some music appreciation show above average mental well-being scores. So let's take a look at this study. So those are pretty impressive results, to be sure. However, this 20-minute online survey has some limitations. So I'm going to take a survey and you're going to be with me. For one, it included 3,185 U.S. adults ages 18 and older. That's a small number if you're kind of comparing that to 328 million people across the country. For another, it's really a survey of people's opinions. For example, although people might report their brain health as excellent, there was no objective measure of brain health, such as MRI scan, or even a test to measure their cognition. Lastly, even if the ratings were true, the findings are only correlations. They do not prove that, for example, it was the exposure to music as a child that led one's improved ability to learn new things. It may be equally likely that those children brought up in more affluent households were both more likely to be exposed to music and to be given a good education that led their being able to easily learn new things came later in life. But let's assume that the results of the AARP survey are indeed true. How can music have such an impressive brain effect? Okay, although we don't know the answers for sure, according to the author, developments in cognitive neuroscience over the past few years have allowed us to speculate on some possible mechanisms. Okay, so let's really get to this one. I just love music. I play piano. I play piano by ear, which means I'm self-taught. It's just always been a thing for me. Okay, music activates just about all of the brain. So music has been shown to activate some of the broadest and most diverse networks of the brain. Of course, music activates the auditory cortex in the temporal lobes close to your ears, but that's just the beginning. So the parts of the brain involved in emotion are not only activated during emotional music, they're also synchronized. So music also activates a variety of memory regions. And very interesting here, music activates the motor system. In fact, it's been theorized that it is the activation to the brain's motor system that allows us to pick the beat of the music, even before we start tapping our foot to it. And this is pretty interesting too. I know that, and I don't know why, I would like to study this as well. So I can be listening, so I'm sitting in church and I'm listening to a song I have never heard before in my entire life. I happen to know what that next beat's going to be. I happen to know what the next note is going to be in the song as well. I'm talking within a hair. I can figure out when the song is going to end, and I can figure out the beat to the end of it. I can figure out, all I need is the beat. If I got the beat going to the song, I can get right to it. And I can just about, that's why people groups like people who play piano by ear, because you kind of get that perception on when it's going to end, what comes next, when it's going to be the chorus, when it's going to be the next verse, that kind of thing. So let's talk about this. It says use it or lose it. Now what does that mean? Okay, so music activates just about all of the brain, according to this article. So why is it so important? Well, have you ever heard the expression, if you don't use it, you'll lose it? Turns out this is actually true in the brain. So brain pathways and even whole networks are strengthened when they are used and are weakened when they're not used. The reason is that the brain is efficient. It isn't going to bother keeping a brain pathway strong when it hasn't been used in many years. The brain will use the neurons in that pathway for something else. These types of changes should be intuitively obvious to you. That's why it's harder to speak a foreign language if you haven't used it in 20 years. Many of the old pathways have degraded and the neurons are being used for other purposes. So it's that simple. Okay, so music keeps your brain networks strong. Let's talk about that. So just how does music promote well-being, enhance learning, stimulate cognitive function, improve qualities of life, and even induce happiness? The answer is because music can activate almost all brain regions and networks. It can also help to keep a myriad of brain pathway and networks strong, including those networks that are involved in well-being, learning, cognitive function, quality of life, and happiness. In fact, there's only one other situation in which you can activate so many brain networks all at once, that it's when you participate in social activities. That's pretty cool, right? Okay, now let's talk about dancing the night away. Dance the night away. That's it's a song from the 70s. How do you incorporate music into your life? It's easy to do. Although the AARP survey found that those who actively listen to music showed the strongest brain benefits, even those who primarily listen to background music showed benefits. So you can turn that music on right now. I say let's go play some music. Music can lift your mood, so put on a happy tune if you're feeling blue. Up-tempo music can help give you some energy. I've noticed that. Like and think about this, when you get up really early in the morning. I had Phil change the alarm clock. Not that we ever need it really, but the alarm clock, like the old-timey alarm clocks where they had this, I mean, it's just like, ooh, like, wake up to something weird going on. I mean, you start off your day kind of weird. So we have our alarm clock going off, and this is Phil's cell phone. So we have hours go off to this calming kind of get up and get it going music. It's not like really outlandish, but it's enough that it'll get you up and it'll get you moving, it'll get you motivated, and it'll keep you going. So let's talk about this just for a second, and then we're going to go into something else when we come back from the break. So, music can lift your mood, so put on a happy tune if you're feeling blue. Up-tempo music to give you energy, and if you combine music with an aerobic and social activity, you can receive the maximum health benefits from it. So you can do something like participate in Zumba. A lot of people do that. Do jazz aerobics, jump to the rhythms of rock and roll. That's what I do. Or better yet, just go dancing. And yes, in the pandemic or anything else that happens in this world, you can benefit by doing these activities virtually. A lot of Zoom meetings and things like that are out there now. Go on youtube.com and you'll be able to find all kinds of wonderful, wonderful things too. Whatever your music is. I like the old rock from the 1970s. That really does something for me. So, and I also like the old music, ballroom dancing type stuff from the 1940s, even though I wasn't born yet. I still love that stuff. Anything that, because it really depends on your mood as to what kind of music you listen to. So if I'm in kind of a mellow mood, I had a lady that I know went to a church we used to go to, and I played piano there. And she said, after church, she told Phil, I could always tell what kind of mood she's in. It depends on the type, tempo of the song she's playing while people are walking into the church. And I guess that's kind of true. So if I'm like in this, I'm feeling free kind of a mood, then I'm going to pick something just a little bit soothing, that kind of thing. Or if I'm in a hurry about something, I'm driving down the road, I kind of hate to play fast music because it makes me speed. So I try not to do that. But if I need to be mellowed out, I just like classical guitar. I just think classical guitar is just awesome. If I want to get moving, I want to get dancing, I want to just get some stuff done, I want to get energized, well, then it's going to be the rock stuff from the 1970s. That's the kind of stuff I like to listen to. Let's cut into a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a minute, so you hang in there and let's get in a good mood with some good music. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back! The MyPillow guy!
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, MyPillow 2.0.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We're talking about music. Can music change your mood? Can music put you in a happy tone? Or if you've got a lot of stuff you want to get done, you want to put on some rock music so you can kind of rock and get your gardening done, or just whatever you need to get done. You can do it with music, most definitely. It's also been found brain function can actually increase with music and with activities. So this is another article from the same author. His name is Andrew E. Hudson, MD. I'm sorry, I got the name wrong. It's Andrew E. Budson, MD. And so he's talked about, and I'm not sure what happened here. Let me get back. We're talking about, let's move this. There we go. Okay, so he's talking about brain function, okay, and how music ties into that. Now he's talking about want a sharp mind, strong memory, just ramp up your activities. And it's really true. The more busy you are, the absolute better it is. So if we want to keep our minds sharp, which we do, we're all in, I'm getting into the age 60. I'm a baby boomer right here. And I'll be 64 on my birthday. So if we want to keep our minds sharp and our memories strong as we get older, so what we can do right now is prevent cognitive decline. What can we do to prevent cognitive decline in our latter years? So engaging in regular aerobic exercise for at least 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, probably has the biggest effect on people of all ages. You youngsters out there too. Okay, so let's go on ahead and let's set a network where we're going to do this, okay? So convincing evidence also, I'll put that on hold. So convincing evidence also suggests that a Mediterranean style diet, I've heard this, fish, olive oil, avocados, fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, and whole grains is beneficial. But what about social and mental activities? Do they happen all? So we got to think about our diet and then activities. So, social activity is a positive attitude and learning new things. Previous research convincingly demonstrates that older people who engage in social activities have a positive mental attitude and work to learn new things, maintain their cognitive abilities longer than those who are socially isolated, have a negative attitude, and do not try to do new things. However, several questions do remain. When is the ideal time to do these activities? In middle age or later in life? Does it help to do multiple activities, or is a single activity as good as several? And what about other common mental activities such as reading books and playing games? Do they help too? I have to tell you what my Aunt Elizabeth says, and she's like 101 years old. She'll be 102 on her birthday coming up this year. So her big deal, she reads the Bible and she does memory verses. And then another thing she does, she loves crossword puzzles. And so she'll sit down and if she's by herself, she likes to keep busy. She lives by herself, by the way. No one lives there to help her out. She got it going on. So she'll get her crossword puzzles out and handle those. She also has hobbies. She loves going to like yard sales and stuff like that. And she's a collector, and she likes to do a lot of research on these. She reads a lot of books. As a matter of fact, I've got some of her books. She let me have a box full of them last time I went down there to visit with her. And so that's what she does. She says, I keep my mind busy and occupied. And this is what she said. She said, you know, the Bible says something kind of bad about people who have idle minds. And I said, you're right. You're absolutely right on that. So she says, this says, when is the ideal time for these activities? In middle age or later in life? Does it help to do multiple activities, which I do? It's probably the crazy stuff going on in my brain. Or is a single activity good as several? And how about other common mental activities, such as reading books, playing games? Do they help? So let's come down here and find out. Mentally stimulating activities. More is better. So a recently published study from researchers at Mayo Clinic followed 2,000 cognitively normal men and women aged 7 or older for about 5 years. Now, participants filled out surveys regarding their engagement in 5 common mentally stimulating pursuits: social activities, reading books, playing games, making crafts, and using a computer. In midlife, between ages 50 and 65, and then in late life, ages 70 and above, the researchers also perform face-to-face evaluations every 15 months. Now, these evaluations included neurologic interview and exam, detailed history of their abilities at home and in the community, and also mental testing for memory, language, attention, and executive function. So, when the studies ended, the researchers looked at whether participants remained cognitively normal or developed mild cognitive impairment. It's called MCI. MCI is diagnosed when a concern about a person's thinking and memory is confirmed by testing that shows impairment on one or more tests of thinking and memory. However, day-to-day functioning is essentially normal and the person is not demented. Okay, now the study yielded several important findings, engaging in 2, 3, or 4, or 5 mentally stimulating activities in late life correlated with a lower risk of developing MCI. I find that's pretty interesting right now. Okay, that means mild cognitive impairment. A trend suggested a greater number of activities is linked to a greater reduction in risk. Now, that's in 2, 3, or 4, or 5 mentally stimulating activities later in life. Now, 3 activities like computer use, social activities, and games had benefits when pursued in both midlife and late life. However, crafts were beneficial only in late life. Now, reading books showed no benefit. That's surprising. A dismaying finding to me as both an author and an avid reader. I kind of disagree with that one. The more I read, I feel like I have to read. I've got to be learning something continuously. Okay, now this is what they say the bottom line is. Okay, if we want to keep our mind sharp and our memory strong, the evidence suggests that there is much we can do today. We can engage in regular aerobic exercise, We can eat a Mediterranean style diet. By the way, those folks walk every single place they go to. We can also work to learn new things and keep a positive mental attitude. And lastly, with a nod to this new research, we can pursue social activities, play games, use computers from midlife onward, and engage in crafts in late life. I do crafts now. Books, on the other hand, should be read whenever we're seeking knowledge, wisdom, enlightenment, or enjoyment. So I love to read. I mean, it's my thing. And I have a library. This is only part of my library back here. Most of my books, I'm not into novels. I just don't do that kind of thing. I'm not into like romance, mysteries, or anything like that. What I like is anything that's going to benefit me when I can learn something. And that's why I really love this show, because I can go to, there's my book right there, right there. And that's on the Master Gardening class. I have several things. Here's a keyboard course that I got. I found this book, the manual, anything to do with gardening. I'm just huge. I am just a fanatic when it comes to that. So I got this book right here, and it was suggested by Brian Brown. He was the person who actually taught us our classes. And so I found this book. You can go to thriftbooks.com, and this is a manual of woody landscape plants, their identification, or ornamental characteristics, culture, propagation, and uses right here. And I'm going to tell you, I love it. It's by Michael A. Dirr, D-I-R-R. So I found this book. The regular price on this book, if you go buy this new, it's going to be somewhere around $100 by the time you pay tax and everything else. I think it's like $90-something, but I found it on thriftbooks.com. That's thriftbooks.com. It was like $14. It's used. I don't care. When I start using a book, it's going to look used anyway. I mean, this huge manual that I got right here from the Master Gardening class, it's huge. And I'm going to tell you what I had to do. It's such a big book. This is not, this right here, I had to go buy this because the book started coming apart. It was so thick. And this thing it's just chock full of great ideas. I'll be using this book the rest of my life. I'm going to pass it down to people. But it's all about tried and proven ways to have a garden. And I think we all need to be thinking about stuff like that right now. It's going to help you with your brain function. Anything you are learning, anything that you're putting in here, you're making a use, and anything you can think that you can possibly teach to someone. Teaching about plant life and about having a garden and how to preserve your food. All those things are extremely important, and we've got to learn those things so we can bring that on down to other people. Could come a time in our lives, in this particular lifetime right now, where the supply chain could go down. It could be that if the supply chain goes down, you can't find food. You need to learn how to grow your own food. I'm telling you, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And if you have any questions about that, why don't you send me an email, donna@donnasedge.com. That's donna@donnasedge.com. Just keep those brain cells going. Stop thinking about, we've got to know what's going on in the world. That's a gimme, and I especially have to, because it's part of what I do. But don't dwell on it. Find other things to do. And just get out and have a good social life and love music. Music's what it's all about too. Okay, thank you so much for watching The Edge. My name is Donna, and I am your host. Love being with you every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you every afternoon. You take care, okay? And I'll see you on the other side.